All right, welcome back. We have a new FSD video for you today. We're on version 12452. I've got a guest with me. I've got my wife sitting next to me in the driver's seat, so she's going to be activating the FSD today. And she's not, well, you don't really use FSD at all, really.
No, I do not.
You've driven FSD once before. What's your general aversion to using FSD?
Oh, the speeding thing now. Oy. I didn't like how it used to do the ghost braking, which I've noticed has decreased significantly. And then I didn't like how when it was making decisions to change lanes and I didn't get a heads up and it would just kind of like take me by surprise. So I didn't really feel like, I guess that's the whole point. You're not a co-pilot. You are really just an observer.
Yeah. Well, if you just observed there, one thing I noticed that was different is you saw it was accelerating quite a bit. We were driving in a 40 zone and it was pushing up to 50, but when it got to those speed bumps, it was decelerating quite a bit.
Yeah.
So I know before when you had driven on it, it would just go so fast over those speed bumps, which is obviously something you don't want your car doing. This time though, it was a little bit slower, and you can see your hands there, which is good. It's good. You have your hands kind of close to the wheel. You feel a little apprehension. I know you have noticed that FSD has been getting better over the last, specifically this year since they moved to version 12.
Yeah, I think since the last two versions, when you've been doing all these downtown drives, it's worked really well. Seems very human with the drives and in very like challenging situations, and it was making the right decisions. In the dark with e-bikes all around, pedestrians, all sorts of decisions that it had to make. But I would not want to do that. I would only be comfortable in the suburbs, where you're not dealing with pedestrians a lot.
Right. So how did you find that left turn right there? That was pretty smooth.
Yeah, it was smooth. And you can see that really a lot of the drives I've been in the car with you, they've been very smooth. I think the speeding over like the limit, has it been fixed since the last
Well,
version?
the last time I did my last drive, it didn't go that far over the speed limit.
Yeah.
Again, we're not on version 13 of it right now, so we're not on the profile where the new versions basically says you can program a max speed above it, where now it's still kind of doing it automatically and trying to determine itself how it does that. So that's one of the things we're gonna try to analyze today to see if it goes over. Generally on streets that like this, there's a speed limit on this road is 60, is usually pretty good with that. We've got traffic in front of us, so it's not gonna go too fast.
I think one time I was driving on a road that was like 50k limit, and then it went over it, and it's become more of a concern because there are all these speed cameras now.
Yeah, that's the one thing that where we live, there's a big push towards speed cameras, especially in school zones right now. So that's something that FSD is going to have to take into consideration, because if it's going to push me over too much, like these speed cameras can be pretty draconian in that if you're going just even like 5 or 6 over, sometimes they'll ding you, right? So we've got to be very careful about that. So we want to make sure that if we're using FSD, it's not going to cost us in fines and tickets and things like that. So it's something we take a cautious look at.
So maybe because I'm more used to the behavior, I feel okay so far. And it's not doing any lane changes right now, so I guess it's just kind of following the flow of traffic. It's not really making any decisions without warning me.
Yeah.
What I didn't like was just like it would change lanes, and then you're like, oh, I didn't like really check for my blind spot, and then it would just go, and you would have to have like confidence and faith that it was doing.
You're giving up power. Yeah, you're giving up control basically, and I think that's for a lot of people. who are skeptical of the technology or just don't feel comfortable about it, it's all about giving up control, right? So you have to feel comfortable with that. And the only way you can feel comfortable with that usually is sitting in the car and going through FSD over and over and understanding what it does well, what it doesn't do well, how it progresses, if there's any regressions, right? So the good thing here right now in this version is not swinging back and forth between left and right lane. You can see we're going to be turning right ahead. Does a good job there signaling well in advance. So
I
that was
thought
good.
we set this to vibrate when it changes lane. It didn't really do that right now.
You have to, I think you have to have your hands on the wheel and like really feel it to feel it vibrate. All right, let's see what it does now. It's waiting. That was good. Oh, now look what it did right now. You see how it went into this lane? Usually it was in the right lane and would try to squeeze in at the last second there. And this time it kind of just went into this lane, which was, you know, okay with that, right? I don't think that was dangerous. I don't know if that's
No, that was reasonable, and I didn't feel any vibration again. I guess I didn't really have my hand on the wheel when it changed lanes.
I think, yeah, you have to have obviously you have to have your hand on the wheel, and I think, like, as you're driving now and you're doing normal bumps, you feel bumps, right?
Yeah.
So you might not feel like the other vibration on the wheel when you feel this other bumps, but I think if you have your hands and you're kind of squeezing maybe a little bit on the wheel, you'll feel the vibration. Maybe you feel that more on the highway, but it's good. And I like how it went into the left lane because we are going to be turning left up ahead. So whenever it, you know, doesn't have to wait until the last second and then try to squeeze in, I know that would make you nervous, right? So when it's proactive, it definitely helps with confidence and helps ease the nerves, especially if you're new to using FSD.
I'm getting more comfortable because it's consistently demonstrating that it is doing the right things.
The question is, like, could you actually see yourself using it though? Like,
maybe I would try it because my drive to work is very short, you know, and very straightforward. I'm hopping on the highway for like, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then I'm getting off the highway. There really isn't much thinking that I have to do anyways. So, and yeah, like I'm getting in early in the morning, so I'm not coming across like very
where would you see, what type of scenario could you see yourself using it? If you did like a longer drive, or if maybe you're driving an area you didn't know the maps or directions, would you rely on FSD to sort of help navigate you there?
I don't know. The psychology of that is different. If it's a place I haven't been before, I actually really want to be in charge and getting myself there. But I can imagine, like, really that's what the technology is for, is to actually help you navigate and get you there. I don't know. I just really enjoy driving this car, actually, in general.
How are you liking this move into the left turn lane?
It was fine. Okay. Oh no! My God. So that indecisiveness, I think
that was right in the in-between zone. Like at first when you saw it,
areas.
At first you thought it's gonna definitely go, and then it slowed down a little bit, and then it realized I really need to go.
It needs to make a decision. Like, you either see a yellow light and you stop, or you go for it. And I don't know, like, if a cop were there right now.
No, I don't think a cop would do anything for that.
Okay.
I think a normal person, sometimes they would have maybe a little bit of indecision, but it wasn't really running the red light. But I could understand that, though. I would feel nervous, definitely. If there was police there, I would feel a little bit nervous about it, for sure.
I would have wished that it would just, like, because it hesitated. Then if you hesitate, then you just stop.
Yeah.
I'm not really feeling the vibration when it's changing lanes. Maybe we should turn the chime on or something.
Sorry there, the camera just stopped for a second here. Oh, here you get turning right. Oh, actually, you could have disengaged there. Okay, you can disengage. We've come to the end of this first part of the drive.
So, what I think FSD offers is like right now, this is a path I'm familiar with. I, drive all the time like that to this mall. So I could predict what it was going to do. I guess it would be a real test if I were going somewhere I haven't been before and letting it take over and making decisions for me, and and then it making like lane changes and how I would actually react, because I guess like right now, it changed lanes and I was actually predicting it to be doing that because that's the route I normally would take.
So overall, though, on this first drive here that you did today, did you felt like it performed relatively well, though, right?
Yeah.
That's good. You have confidence. All right, let's try another drive. Let's try another drive after, and we'll see how it goes.